Hello and welcome to the third episode of How to Cross Step and Noseride. Hopefully at this point you've watched episode 1 and episode 2, and if you haven't then please do, because we'll be referring to them a lot. And hopefully you enjoyed them. If you do enjoy them or you are interested in this topic, then please do subscribe, because we're going to be uploading a series of classes on this, and they'll all be interrelated to each other. Today we're going to be talking about backside cross stepping. Now, as I said in the last episode, when we're backside cross stepping, until you know what to do, it is a lot harder than going front side. And I'm just quickly going to explain why before we look at some of the hacks or the cheats or the techniques, I should say techniques really, the techniques I've started to use in order to help me cross step front side. Now, if you remember from the last class, we spoke about bisecting our feet down the middle of the stringer line. In some instances, we did admit that we needed to move our feet a little bit to the inside rail. But we spoke about bisecting our feet and pressing on our toes, okay, or tippy-toeing forwards, in order to maintain inside rail pressure, in order to keep the rail engaged with the wave. Now, going front side, we can do it. However, if you look at your foot, or you can look at my foot if you like, you can see that in front of my ankle, there is this much foot for me to press on my toes, to apply pressure and control my inside rail pressure. Whereas if you look behind my ankle, okay, I've only got a little slither there. So it's really quite hard to apply pressure precisely to your heel. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It is doable, okay, and it's doable. Our foot, we can cut it pretty much in half and we can say, okay, I'm going to press on my heel. So it is doable, but it's very difficult to do. Now, for years, I was focusing solely on just doing that. Hopefully you guys remember from the last class, when we see the yoga deck and the surfboard connect here, that means that we have failed and we've lost inside rail pressure. But for years, I was managing to focus really hard, look at that face of concentration, focus really hard on pressing on my heels, and I started to keep the rail engaged, and I started to manage to get all the way forwards to the nose, but then I found it very, very hard, very difficult to control myself from this position. I found that this square body position was difficult to control the Noseride, and it was almost impossible for me to recover from here. So I want to give credit where credit's due. I sought out some help, and I spoke to a lady called Carla Zamora in Malibu. She runs the Surf Institute, and when she looked at my footage, the first thing she noticed was that my front foot, my right foot, because I'm a goofy footer, was always square when I was trying to walk forwards. So what she suggested was that actually I open my toes out towards the nose and I have more of a 45-degree angle. Okay, so that's two changes that we can see just with this footstep. Actually, we'll talk about both things. At the moment now, I'm not bisecting my foot, okay, with the stringer line. I'm actually running my toe across the stringer line and my toes. I try to do that. But in addition to that, I've opened my foot up so that it's facing a 45-degree angle. And it really was an instant fix. As soon as I started doing that, so thank you, Carla, as soon as I started doing that, I found that moving forwards towards the nose of the surfboard was much easier. I'd land my Noserides, I'd recover them, and I'd be able to set up again. There you go, another 45-degree angle shot. Set up again to try and move forwards and do another Noseride. This is a shot of Playa Guiones. This is where we coach. 45-degree angle, toes being there you go, toes running along the stringer line. That's a nice little freeze frame there for you. And trying to get my Noserides in. So there's two main things that we're going to try and do. We're going to try and, instead of bisecting our feet, we're going to try and run our toes along the stringer line, and we're going to open our front foot up 45 degrees so that we can control our cross-stepping, maintaining inside rail pressure, and eventually start getting our toes over the nose and recovering by using the same technique. So every now and then I get it right and it looks a little something like this. Okay, And I just want to zoom in on this and slow it down a little bit, because this, with that board, it does have a really nice view of where my toes are pointed on the surfboard, or where my toes are placed, sorry. So you can see those toes are running across that stringer line. Okay, and we can see that I'm opening up 45 degrees. And we'll talk more about this in a future episode when we start to talk about frontside stance versus backside stance. But for cross-stepping backside, this is one of the most useful things that I've started changing with my surfing, and that I encourage people to do. So hopefully you found this useful, and if you have, please do share it, because that really does help us. And please enjoy your surfing. Keep at it. Make sure you're working on drills every now and then, but also sometimes you're just free surfing and enjoying it. So please do support us. Hopefully those of you that are following us on all the various social media platforms have noticed that we post slightly different things on the different platforms, and hopefully you're enjoying the story and watching our new company grow. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time, and we'll catch up with you next time.